Hi, I'm Callie and welcome to Kapowski Reads and welcome to my third instalment of shopping my stash, which is part of my low spend year kind of experiment, if you will. I'm just trying to not go out and buy things that I have told myself I cannot have, and instead looking at the stuff I do already have to see, could I maybe make use of things I already have so that I don't feel like I am missing out on not going shopping. I am going to start with my non-bookish items first, and then I'm going to go on to the books that I really want to get, and I'm going to end with the amount of money that I feel I've saved by not buying these things, i.e. how much all of this adds up to. So for the last month, I feel like there were fewer non-bookish things that I kind of desired, which, you know, fair enough. I maybe haven't seen a lot of people with things that I covet, so for some reason I have fewer non-book related things than previously. So let's go through those first. I have been having really bad skin for the last month or so, or the last 30 odd years. I've just been having some really painful pimples that no amount of makeup seems to want to cover, and I really wanted to treat myself to a face mask, just a soothing, cooling face mask to make my face not hurt. I had my eyes on this face mask from Lush. It is Cosmetic Warrior Soothing Mask. It's £12. I've tried it before and it does the trick for my face. But I'm in a low spend year. I already have face masks. I have been making my way through my collection of one-use masks. I actually only have one sachet left from my Christmas gifts. And I already have a face mask that I got back at Christmas. It is this bubble mask. It has got a little pig on it and it's like a mud mask and it bubbles up and it is nice and cooling and soothing for my face. So I already have this. I can already fulfill this item with things I already have, and I suppose that works out for the best because our Lush has moved location. It's no longer in the city centre. It's moved to a shopping centre that's kind of a little bit away from the city centre, so if you don't drive you're probably not going to be there that often. And I wonder if Lush was still in the city centre and I was walking past it, would I maybe have just gone in and got it in a moment of weakness? Maybe. Or a moment of desperation. Maybe. But it didn't. So I'm proud of myself. And next up I have Joni. Joni have been testing me this last month. They have released a whole bunch of gorgeous clothes that I cannot buy because I do not need them. I have stayed strong and I have not got them, but oh, how I have looked at them. So the next two items are clothing items from Joni, which is one of my favourite places to shop. First item is yet another gorgeous jumper. Because I'm not buying any, I'm seeing new ones I want. I have had my eye on this arts and literature jumper, which is a gorgeous colour first of all, and it is £49. We've been having some really interesting weather of late. I'm filming this in mid-April and it is tracking it down with rain. Woke up this morning shivering because it was so cold, so I'm just sort of looking at jumpers and knits with a lustful gaze. But I already have so many sweatshirts and knits. I do not need any more. I'm probably good. If I was to wait until I ran out of jumpers, I'm probably good for years. I could maybe make it a decade. I don't know. I'm probably not going to try that. But I have this. I still have this, my Avid Readers Club jumper, which I feel is a perfect substitute to the arts and literature jumper. Same shape, kind of similar vibe, and it won't cost me anything because I already have it. I also fell in love with this gorgeous dress. It is called the Stella Puff Sleeve Midaxi dress and it's £109. These dresses, it just feels like their prices have increased so much over the last few years. I know everything's gone up in price. I just notice it more with the dresses for some reason, probably because I don't buy dresses that often that every time I look and I find a new one, I'm like, oh, you're expensive. I just thought that because spring had sprung with regards to the flowers, not the temperature, I wanted like a nice cute springtime dress. But with the length of this, I kind of thought it could go with some, you know, cozier tights and boots and still kind of keep me warm, but also be like, look, I'm embracing a season has changed. But I actually think that when I looked at the stuff I already had, I realised that this was just a repeat of the time that I fell in love with a green velour dress. I already own something kind of similar and I don't like the one I own. I don't wear it that often. So I have a kind of similar dress. This is not going to show up that well. It is kind of linen-y and it is a Medaxi. I could stand up and show you properly, but I won't. It is a kind of Medaxi dress, very similar fabric, and it kind of had the lightness that I wanted from a dress. This was in my summer hamper, aka the footstool that I'm currently sitting on, a storage inside it, and I put all my summer clothes in there because I don't need them right now. And I've had that dress for maybe like 2 years, maybe 3, and I will wear it when it's warmer, but I don't love it enough to really justify having another similar dress. And the dress from Joni, the new dress that I've got my eye on, I like more. But I think if I already have something that's kind of similar and I don't really wear it, I really can't justify spending £109 on arguably a cuter version of it. And the final non-bookish item is a pair of shoes. I always think I'm not a shoe girl, but I think maybe I am a shoe girl. Or maybe it's just because I haven't bought any new shoes in ages that I'm like, ooh, shoes, they'd be nice. I was in town and we were just walking to Marks and Spencer's and we were walking past Office, which is a shoe shop, and I actually did a back take. Like, I started walking and then I like shimmied back to gaze in the window because I saw these shoes and my heart went ba-dum ba-dum. I just loved them. And my boyfriend was like, they're so you. They're just like your shoes. I was convinced I actually owned these shoes. And I know, had I not been on a low spend year, the amount of love that I had towards them when I saw them in the window, I'd have just bought them. They are $49.99. They've got the cute little heel and I'm like, these are grown-up shoes. I feel so sophisticated with them. But my partner was just so convinced I had a pair of these already. And when I got home, again, I looked to the summer hamper and lo and behold, not exactly the same, but kind of similar. I already have some cute two-tone flats. These are from Marks and Spencer's and I like lived in these last summer, possibly the summer before as well. I like to get my money's worth. And these come in half sizes. So these are super comfortable because they are not too big, not too small. So I can definitely fulfill this item with my own stash because these are a Q peel and a strappy away from being the item that I saw. They're also a bit darker, but you know, I'm not going to split hairs. They are close enough that I'm going to say desire fulfilled. For my bookish wants, I always want loads of books. It's just who I am and I'll never apologise for it. So I have narrowed these books down to just 5, my top 5 books that I really would love to get my little mitts on. And I credit Instagram with every single one of these because these are all books that I saw other people posting about that sounded amazing and I want to read them. So first up I have Nigeria Jones by Ibi Zoboy, then Fantastic Land by Mike Bukoven. I'm actually glad I didn't buy this one because it's so the cheapest one I can find of this is so expensive. And Lost on Me by Veronica Ramo. These 3 books, I could not find them in my library catalogue. They just don't have them. But my library catalogue is constantly adding new books. They're getting new books in all the time. So just because they don't have them now, it doesn't mean they won't have them another time. So I'm hopeful I will be able to maybe get my hands on these later. The library did have these last 2 books from my wish list, so I will be getting these at some point. First up is The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. This is actually one of my library's newest acquisitions. I wanted this book ages and ages ago and they didn't have it. And then I saw it in there, we now have this. And I was like, yes, because I want to read this. So I'm absolutely delighted that they now have it. And Difficult Women, A History of Feminism in 11 Fights by Helen Lewis. I saw somebody talking about this and I was like, that sounds like a book I would like to read. So I will be reading that at some point too. So if I wasn't on my low spend year, I probably would have bought all of these books, including the £28 Fantastic Land. If I just take the prices off of Amazon as a guide for how much I would have spent, these books I would have been able to get for £65.64, and I probably would have spent that. Felt a bit guilty because one of these books is so expensive, but I would have bought them. I know I would. Where would I have put them? I don't know. I don't have any shelf space. None. I'd put them on a pile. Just like a little pile on a table somewhere. So from shopping my stash, I'm gonna say I've saved it, or I've just at least not spent £285.63. And I sort of think that that's a lot of money. That is a lot to spend in one go. But I think that had I just bought these things as I wanted them through the month, I probably wouldn't have considered them to be like super big expenses. I'd have been like, oh, okay, you know, treat yourself. But it all adds up. I feel like I could put that money to better use when these are things that, yeah, I want them. Of course I do. Have you seen those shoes? They're gorgeous. But I don't need them. I have things that are close enough. I can't be having, you know, 2 pairs of shoes that are, you know, 80% the same. That's crazy. I don't need that. I only have 2 feet and I don't go out of the house often enough to justify having multiple pairs of shoes. So yes, that is my shop, my stash. I would love to know if you are doing any sort of low spend or is that anything like that this year. I kind of love these little videos where I get to just take a look at things that I have and be like, oh yeah, you want that. That thing you have, you like that. Use it. So this is very interesting for me and I hope it's interesting for you as well. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.